the personal experiences that we have had in discussions with people that we have gotten to know today who tried to practice religious freedom in Turkey and have come under these constraints that frankly have led to a situation where 2,000 churches are now 200 in Turkey. So we urge Turkey to fulfill its obligation, allow clergy to train and students to study Christianity and other religions there, return all confiscated church properties that were taken from these, that were stolen, frankly.
The legacy of High Tide in the 21st century is one of traditional principled activism that we've always relied on so heavily in our communities. Whether it's supporting legislation on the return of Christian churches in Turkey to their rightful owners, whether it's protesting the arrival of President Obama this past April in Los Angeles for his continued refusal to acknowledge the Armenian genocide, whether it's opposing the nomination of Ambassador Ricardion to Turkey, the community can always count on the ANC taking on the toughest issues.
Thomas Jefferson noted, "In matters of style, swim with the current. In matters of principle, stand like a rock."
2011 was special because it saw the realization of a significant goal by the ANCA. The goal of returning property stolen by the Ottoman Turkish government during the Armenian genocide to their rightful owners. We saw moderate success when the House Foreign Affairs Committee did just that, with a vote of 43-1.
The ayes have it, and the question is agreed to.
Shortly thereafter, Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State of the United States, affirmed that the United States government was going to pressure the Republic of Turkey to return all religious properties that were stolen after the Armenian genocide.
This past summer, when Francis Riquiardone, U.S. Ambassador to Turkey, falsely claimed that most of the thousands of churches whose congregations were exterminated during the Armenian genocide continue to operate today, the ANCA Western Region worked with our friends in the U.S. Senate to call him to task. Our success is measured in Riquiardone's revised responses and the subsequent call by the U.S. State Department for Turkey to improve its efforts to address this cultural fallout of the genocide.
A few months ago, the Ottoman Military Marching Band planned a march right through Hollywood, California, a mile away from Little Armenia. When word got out, the ANCA mobilized its forces, its people, its relationships, and did everything that it could to make sure that that march does not happen in our backyard, and it didn't.
In light of his April visit and his promise as senator and as candidate to recognize the Armenian genocide, the ANCA Western Region invited President Barack Obama to the Armenian Genocide Martyrs Monument in Montebello, California, to pay his respects. He refused.
Mr. Obama, keep your promise, recognize the genocide.
The community was activated. Anti-genocide activists from all across Los Angeles led the effort in front of Sony Studios in Culver City to ensure and remind President Barack Obama of his pledge during his candidacy and as senator to acknowledge the events of 1915 as genocide. Even international superstar Kim Kardashian tweeted to her 7.2 million followers, urging them to partake in the demonstration. The message was clear. Our public officials cannot come into our own backyards and expect our support without standing firm with our community, standing for justice, and standing for truth.
The ANCA Western Region works tirelessly to connect our community with those elected to represent us in the halls of power. We do so through a number of means, including our advocacy days in Washington, D.C. and Sacramento, town hall forums to educate, motivate, and activate.
The greatest feeling is when you overhear an elected official explain the value and success of the ANCA to others. The Meet and Greet series provides an intimate opportunity for our representatives to meet the dedicated activists behind the ANCA brand.
Throughout the years, with the support of the Western Region Office, the local chapters have expanded their reach in countless community service initiatives that affect the daily lives of the particular communities that they serve.
The ANCA Western Region and the ANC San Gabriel Valley this year worked to erect a highway sign for the Armenian Genocide Martyrs Monument in Montebello, California. This year, United States Senator Dianne Feinstein visited the monument and paid her respects to the 1.5 million martyrs of the Armenian Genocide. The ANCA Western Region Executive Internship Program is one of the best ways for youth to get involved in not only the ANCA but also in politics and the community at large.
I began as a Western Region intern. Then I moved on to do the Leo Sarkisian internship in Washington, D.C.
I joined the ANCA Western Region internship because I wanted to know more about what a grassroots organization does and expand my definition of what High Todd is.
I got involved first here in the Western Region as an intern, and from there I moved on to the Leo Sarkisian internship in Washington, D.C., and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
The ANC Western Region has organized the ANC Grassroots Conference this year for the first time. It's a one-of-a-kind event in our community that brings together activists, our grassroots, from all walks of life and all ages to come and hone their leadership skills, to take those skills back into their local communities and into their organizations, and to learn ways to advocate for the Armenian cause.
I'm actually from Canada, Toronto. I'm really happy to be here, really happy to take part, and it looks like it's going to be a really exciting weekend.
I attended the conference in Washington, D.C. a few months ago, which was fantastic, and I think it's a great idea to do the same thing or similar thing on the West Coast.
I'm from Utah, and I came with my brother independently, and it's a wonderful get-together and occasion, and I hope they put on more in the near future.
It was a really interesting mix of people. It wasn't just young people. We often think it's the young people who need the inspiration, but there were older people there too. I found that interesting.
We really brought recognition to the genocide and to promoting education through the arts.
It's not very often that we get to exchange these kind of ideas and have a lot of people involved in questioning and answering, and these are issues that need to be discussed, and it's a great forum.
The grassroots are our strength, and bringing them together and sending them out as soldiers in the fight for the Armenian cause is exactly what we're doing, and we're very excited at the success of this conference.
The ANC has really took me in, and I feel like it's an organization that does worthwhile things, and I want to learn as much as I can.
High Todd continues to be a source of our inspiration, our energy, and our power as a people. Members of High Todd come from all different walks of life: professionals, students, families, volunteers. All of this team together is what makes the ANC and High Todd such an effective force in our communities.